Hey guys, thank you for joining, and let's wait for a few more minutes, uh, so that people can sign in. And yeah, yeah, let's wait for a minute, and we'll get started at 9:36. Right. Good day, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm Shivani from DevRev support team, and I'm really super excited to be your host for today's webinar. So today's session focuses on delivering delight with AI, where women leaders in the support space share perspectives on their journeys and the future of support. So, we are here to delve into the journeys of two trailblazing women who haven't only reached the pinnacle of your careers, but are also redefining the landscape of customer service with cutting edge AI technologies. So, joining me from DevRev is Molly Holland, who heads the customer success and support operations, will now brief us about a partnership with Support Driven. Over to you, Molly.
Thanks, Shivani. Very excited to have the session today with Andrea and Jenny and you moderating. We have been partnering with Support Driven, which is how I found these two lovely ladies for over a year now from DevRev, and it's been such an awesome partnership. I've gotten to learn so much as customer success and support and customer experience leader myself, from so many other amazing people in the industry. And when I've heard Andrea and Jenny speak at past events, I was really amazed by their career journeys as women that started out in entry-level support roles and have worked their way up to managing, large, successful, and innovative support organizations. And I just thought that it would be really remarkable to have them share their story with so many more people than just those that have gotten to see them at those events. And so after some discussion amongst us at the last event where we were all together, decided that we'd put this on. And so I hope that everyone gets as inspired as I have hearing both of them share their stories in the past and take something away that they can apply to their own career, to their own role immediately. That's another thing that I love so much about the support-driven interactions that I have is I always leave my last session or time with that group with something really tangible that I can do or change. And so, yeah, welcome both, and so excited to have you and hear more about your stories today and how you're really impacting the future of the support function, leveraging, the latest in technology and how you've managed to get yourself to these places with the knowledge that you have. So thanks, and thank you, Shivani, for hosting.
Yeah, sounds good. So let me also give a brief introduction about our speakers. So I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our first speaker, Andrea Silas. Andrea is the powerhouse VP of Technical Support at DreamHost. Her nearly 2-decade-long journey at DreamHost, Andrea has climbed the ranks from a technical support team member to VP, demonstrating incredible leadership and innovation. Under her strategic direction, DreamHost support team has flourished, earning a stellar 9.9 out of 10 rating from the PC Mac hosting customer survey. Andrea's role encompasses everything from strategic planning and process creation to overseeing a team of over 110 members across 3 offices. Her mantra of providing support everywhere aligns perfectly with our holistic approach to customer service. As mentioned by Molly, we are so happy to have her here. And next, we are very thrilled to introduce Jenny Chudy, the Director of Customer Contact Center at Prime Group Holdings. Jenny is a senior CX leader renowned for her expertise in AI and ML technology. She has launched transformative AI driven support strategies that have resulted in a 44% rise in customer satisfaction score and a remarkable 164% increase in conversation deflection. At WageStream, she expanded user support from 30,000 to over 3 million users across 4 markets, optimizing the agent to user ratio eightfold. Jenny's leadership in driving innovative process enhancements and building a high performing, globally engaged team is exemplary. Her innovative approach in leadership have not only enhanced customer experience but have also set new benchmarks in the industry. We welcome you, Jenny. Um, so now get ready to be inspired. We are excited to hear the amazing stories and valuable insights from our speakers today. We will be starting with Andrea Silas, followed by Jenny Chudy. Do not hesitate to post the questions in the chat session. We will have our speakers talk about those too, and we will also have a dedicated Q&A session at the end to address them all. So without further ado, let's get started with our speakers' inspiring career journeys. Over to you,
First,
Andrea.
First, I would love Shivani to also introduce herself. Sorry. And share your story because you are also an inspiration. So maybe just take a minute to do that and then over to Andrea. Sorry to jump in there.
Right. So I'm very new to support, and I'm right out of my college, and it's really I would say it's really challenging, to have my first job here at DevRev as a support member. And DevRev, I feel DevRev is very unique, and I see a lot of challenges, and I explore myself a lot here, to be honest. And along with Molly, we are creating something new over in DevRev, a new form of support. So, yeah, this is my story, and would love to hear Andrea's and Jenny's story so that I can get inspired from them and learn from them. Yeah, thank you.
So I think I'll start. Hi. So as Shivani mentioned, I'm Andrea. I work for DreamHost and have been working for DreamHost for most of my adult life, really. Um, Been there for over 20 years. And she mentioned I started at an entry-level technical support position a long time ago, and I basically grew with the company. We were smallish at the beginning of the 2000s and needed the kind of go-getter people, I guess, to grow with the company. And I was basically thrusted on the responsibility of managing other people, which I was not cut out for, I thought at that point. So it's been a journey for me for the past 20 years, trying to get from entry level contributor, which I super enjoyed because I thought that's like the best thing in life, trying to help people get their problem solved in a technical area, and then all of a sudden being responsible for other people trying to do the same job, and then going higher and higher as the company grew and as I understood more and more what it means to not just get people to do their jobs, but actually be motivated to do the work that we do, and then being able to contribute on how we do that work, like how we are supporting our customers. And I really enjoyed being an individual contributor. So I'm going to stress this again. Not everybody is cut out to manage people, and that's totally fine. But it is a learnable skill as long as you put in the time and the effort to learn that skill, and care about the people that you're working with, and get to know the people that you're working with. Get to know who is motivated by what are their strengths, where can you support them, when is the time when you have to make, the rough decisions, and also working with the rest of the company because you're part of a larger organization, and support has historically always been looked at sort of as, I'm going to use the word afterthought, as a necessary thing to kind of do, but it's your job to make support be part of, like, integral part of the company, or the whoever you're working for, to make sure that you're on equal footing with the rest of the company, that your voice matters, that your team's voice matter, and then you're taken care of as well as your team is taken care of. So um, I guess some takeaways from my learnings and my journey is that you really need to understand who you're working with, not just the people under you, but the people around you, your peers, and of course your executive leadership, to find your support organization's place in that bigger puzzle, and um, and build your relationships um, with your peers. I mean, that depends also on the kind of organization you work for. I was lucky enough not to be in like a rigorously structured corporate situation. So relationships work. They continue working, especially because of how tenured we are. And learn the people you're working with so they want to work with you rather than for you, I guess. Um, as well as learn to let go of things that you think that you're the best doing, and let other people grow and shine, because that basically becomes your job once you're get to the leadership position. It's no longer about you, it's about what you make of the rest of the people. And as far as, I guess we should mention the fact that we are women um, running um, technical operations, and I'm working in the tech culture as well. Honestly, possibly because of the organization I've been working for, it's never been an issue. But I'm not saying that this is not something that others would need to be concerned with or worry about. So unfortunately, or fortunately for myself, I can put a lot of like I can give a lot of insights on what it feels like to be a woman in a technical leadership position because of where I am. So I consider myself super lucky and grateful that I have been supported throughout my journey, no matter what position I was in this company. So lucky me.
Well, Andrea, if I ever am looking for another job, I'm going to apply to work for you. Um, my name is Jenny. I am a new director of the customer. Uh, can you hear me okay? Okay, I just saw something pop up. Of the customer service center for a company called Prime Group Holdings. And I say the new director because I just have stepped into this role as of April. I was the global director of a support department for a startup tech company called Wavestream for nearly 5 years. Before that. And so it's been a really interesting journey switching from one position of growing a department from scratch, and then also now stepping into an existing department that doesn't just have support, it has service, encompasses sales, support, all kinds of anything that touches the customer. So I'm getting a really interesting perspective on that. As far as my journey, I did start my journey in this space as entry level. I applied to a part-time position to just answer support tickets. Didn't really know what I was getting myself into. It was a little bit later in life for me. I had been a yoga instructor of all things for a very long time, and was just looking for something part-time just to make a little extra money, never imagining that I would really fall in love with this space. And so at the time, I was about 10 years older than everybody that I worked with. I pride myself of the generation that, I don't think I had an email account until after college. So whereas I feel like I had two learning curves, I needed to learn, the tech world, as far as working in customer support, but I also needed to know what the heck everybody was talking about. So I was doing a lot of Googling of acronyms and what is an API? What are these words that everybody's throwing around? So that was really interesting and challenging. But really, just like I said, something I fell in love with. And I think the part that I fell in love with the most was how you get to deal with so many people in such a wonderful way. And so people, I mean, not just the customer, not just your team, everybody that you're interacting with, we're all working towards something together. You're working towards resolution with the customer. You're working with empowering and mentoring a team. You're working with, finding ways to collaborate with other departments. So I just really fell in love with that. And as far as where I, am now, I'm just really excited because I'm starting with a new company that is actually outside of the tech space as far as we don't offer a technical solution as our product. But the company is really interested in investing in technology. And I think the piece that really drew me to them was that they also share that idea of wanting to be exemplary in how we deal with people, being the best for our customers, being the best for our people within. I just was really drawn to that. So I'm sure that there'll be more questions about that later, but I will turn this over back to Shivani.
Yeah. And yeah, that was really great to hear your stories from both of you. And yeah, folks, please feel free to post your questions. And in the meantime, I have few questions for both of you. So let me ask those. And for Andrea, like what are the some of the biggest challenges you faced as you moved up the ranks, right? So how did you overcome them?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase the question?
Right. I just want to ask, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced as you moved up the ranks, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so thinking that I know more than I do, and then realizing that the people who were already in the new peer level um, could sort of steamroll you if you're not ready. And not because of any sort of malicious, but it's like there is an expectations when you move into a role, and some people forget that you're new at the role, and they feel like you were moved into the role because you deserve to be in the role and know what you're doing. And then you realize that you don't really know what you're doing, and it can come off as it can demotivate you. It can put you in a bad light. So making sure that you understand that you're new and being very vulnerable and open towards your peers and your superiors to explain that you need all the help that they can offer. Don't reject any sort of like suggestions or anything like that. So be open to learn. So that was a challenge, finding out that when you move up in roles, relationships shift, and it's a human thing to have expectations towards people, and you need to do your best to make sure that you're not coming off as like pretending to know what you're doing and then just completely failing. So try not to get demotivated when you move up in the ranks, because you're getting from a very comfortable, really secure position when you knew everything, you were doing great, and all of a sudden you're up and you're like, this is totally not what I thought it was. Um, so that's one of the things. And really, I keep saying the word relationships, but I feel like, and I don't know if other companies work like that, but our company is really strong on uh, relying on each other on a human level rather than being too structured, who's supposed to be doing what and how. So yeah, that actually helped.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I think many people would really need that piece of information. So, for Jenny, right, what were the key experiences that shaped your path to becoming the director of customer service center at Prime Group Holdings?
I think I'll probably echo a little bit of something that Andrea just said. I think I had to become comfortable. It's such a cliche to say, but comfortable with being uncomfortable. Um, so for me, I think because I started off that way, it just naturally helped me just get comfortable with it very quickly. But knowing that I don't have all the answers all the time, but having the confidence to know that I'm going to get through it and I'm going to find the answer, I think has really driven me from the very beginning. So, it allows you to not panic. It allows you to stop and think and assess and know when when to panic. Because sometimes there's time, there's panic is a little appropriate, but usually not. Um, I think that is probably what's helped me to move from entry level all the way to where I am now, is just having that confidence to know I don't know everything, but I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out what I need to know, because I have those skills to draw upon.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great answer, and yeah, thank you for answering that. And I have a very interesting question back for Andrea. So, looking back at your career, what would you do differently if you could start over again?
Um, Not try to build a team of mini me's. and just understand that different people have different talents and different strengths, and try and learn.
Right. Sorry, I just had a bad network. Yeah. So yeah, I think those are great answers. Right. So do we have Andrea here?
I
Right.
think she may have
So
dropped.
right, right. So Jenny, like, I think she'll come back. In the meantime, I just want to ask you a few questions, regarding how you have implemented the AI right now. And, its support has always been like, very old style things. Now we've got AI. So I'm just very curious to know how you have used AI, right? So a question on that would be, how have you been using AI to provide proactive support and anticipate customer needs before they arise? And can you share some of the examples of the service initiatives that you've been that have been successful in your organizations?
Absolutely. So I think that's been one of the biggest game changers that AI has provided in this space, is that you can be so proactive rather than reactive. I think particularly for support, when you think of customer service, traditionally, I think there was a lot of just reactive, it was just very reactive in nature. And I think sometimes that's necessary, of course, but you want to try to get ahead of the game whenever you can. So I think where AI has been the most successful for me is helping me to, in the ways that I've implemented it, or I should say we, because it's never been an I. It's been a team effort. Um, that we can be more targeted and, targeted comms, be proactive in our communications, proactive in identifying trends, proactive in, finding real-time solutions for individuals. So less of a just waiting to see what comes in, but kind of starting to see, all right, well, I know that these trends are occurring and I can implement these strategies that are going to help me identify when these trends will most likely occur and what I can implement ahead of time to make sure that I'm ready for anything that comes up. And then when things do come in, having that ability to sort through a lot of that and get through some of the more mundane pieces, to be able to spend that focused time and energy on what's really going to be tricky and challenging, and that you're really going to have to spend some time on. It's sped up that whole process, right? So I just think that those are the pieces that have really helped. I would say one other piece maybe that I think would be great for proactive assistance in general. So this is just more of a general term or a general idea, is trying to augment what your humans are doing rather than to just try to find this tool that's going to do everything for you. I think that helps you to be a little bit more realistic and successful. So you want to think about, if you're going to be proactive, what is going to help your humans be proactive? Let that AI make you faster, make you more targeted, make you be better at what you do. If you're trying to take the AI and have it just replace what a human does, you're probably not always going to be as successful as you're hoping, at least not now. And I think that that's where I've seen people falter or be disappointed the most, is when they're trying to replace rather than augment.
Right. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, we got Andrea. I thought I just lost you, Andrea.
You
Yeah.
did.
So
Zoom just force quit on me, so yay, technology. So I'm back. I troubleshooted myself because that's my job. So yeah.
yeah,
And I don't
that's
even know what the question was, but I super agree with Jenny based on the answer that I heard. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, I think continuing that, I do have, a question, which
Mhm.
would be a continuation of Jenny. Like, what I want to ask you is, what are some of the most important trends that you see emerging in customer support?
AI, but other than AI in any shape and form, be it, scripted, the machine learning or the generative, I'm really seeing, and I'm really happy to be seeing the stress that we are now putting on feedback loops, be it the voice of customer or the voice of support. As I was saying earlier, it's been kind of a journey getting from the point where support is just considered a necessary whatever that we have to pay for, to talk to customers, to really being used as the source of um, productive and active feedback, either support being basically the super user of your products and interfaces and whatever, and getting the support voice into the feedback loop, or using support as the channel for the voice of customer. So I also saw this, right at the same time, being a really big theme at support driven as well. So that was really good to see, and it's really interesting how there are some companies who are really building the right kind of tool to extract, organize, and deliver the feedback that's important, because we're all building something not for ourselves but for our customers. So feedback via support is it's really good to see.
Totally agree with you. Yeah. And yes, and I just want to ask this to Jenny, that I saw you have, optimized the ratio of agents eightfold. So I think this question would be perfect to you. Like, can you share an example of how you find AI that can empower your human support agents to perform better?
Definitely. And I think that it would be remiss for me to not acknowledge that, when you're talking about reducing, that when I was able to make that ratio, smaller and smaller each time, that's something that's a very sensitive topic. And I think it's something that we as leaders need to really acknowledge, that it's as exciting as all of this can get. It can cause a lot of real anxiety for folks, that I think it's part of our responsibility to make sure that we're setting those expectations properly with those in the business that maybe are making decisions without having the people in front of them. And also for our team that is, scared, what is this going to mean for me this year, next year, and 5 years, right? So I think one of the things that has helped me in empowering my team is really driving home that we are replacing work, not humans. So the work that I'm replacing, and where I've really felt that I get the most out of my human teams is we're replacing the mundane things, the stuff that you don't want to do because it's gonna burn you out, right? You don't want to answer the same question over and over and over again. For that customer that's coming in also, though, that's the first time that they're asking that question. So they don't want a burnt out agent giving them that answer, right? So, that's the kind of work that AI can really excel at, is answering those very easy, mundane things, replacing those tasks. The other tasks that I think it's really helps with your humans is that it frees them up to relearn or learn maybe for the first time a different skill or more in depth. So maybe somebody on your team is really interested in analytics, but they really didn't have the time to dig into it because, there was so much volume coming in that they just needed to answer questions. Well, now, you can use AI to find the answers faster. It can scan through the information that you have at your fingertips much faster than a human can. It retains a lot more information than a human can at their fingertips. So, you know, your human team can find what they're looking for faster. They can deliver better results to the customer faster, which most support and service people at the root, they really just want to help people. So that makes them feel great. And then it also helps them to grow their own careers into different avenues, more exciting avenues. So I think that that's where I've really found that AI can empower a human support team rather than just replacing them. Is I'm going to be on my soapbox for that probably. So just be prepared.
Yeah, that's interesting to know. And I think on top of it, I want Andrea also, to talk about this. Like, how do you just trying to pose it as a question, like how do you balance the use of AI and human agents in your support strategy to ensure the best customer experience? And how do you also see AI transforming customer service in the future?
To reflect on what Jenny said, it's not a replacement, it's an augmentation. It is it's basically what I call the legwork that we need to do the right kind of support for our customers. It can be done with the tool, it can be done with AI. My company, DreamHost, has multiple products. It's fairly complex technical situation, and we have different kind of customer levels, knowledge levels coming in. So that always means a fairly complex conversation assistance, very customized approach to how we are helping our customers. So that involves a lot of legwork that needs to be done before we can understand what they want, where are they coming from, and help them the right kind of way. And that includes knowing their support history, understanding their knowledge level, seeing what sort of maintenances we're running today and how many and how that might affect the question that the customer asked. Um, what is their service level? So there's a lot of things that my agents need to know and understand and be aware of before they can properly answer the question. And we are technical support. We are not a level 1, level 2, whatever customer service. We have one tech support team that knows everything. So we are really proud of the fact that we have about 73-75% first contact resolution rates. So when you ask us a question, we answer it and that's it. You don't have to be escalated. You don't have to go back and forth. And like I said, that requires a lot of legwork. So where AI comes in for us is right now the generative AI is for internal assistance. We're building this tool for an agent assist thing. We call it TS Assist, Tech Support Assist, that gathers all that for us. everything about the customer at your fingertips to understand what they need and how it's best to help them. Of course, there's all the other things, like gathering information for support trends, gathering feedback automatically from CSAT surveys or every single interaction rather than having to manually do that. So I'm going to keep saying this word because a lot of legwork that AI can do for us, and that means that now my agents are freed up to, like Jenny said, pursue other knowledge that they might be interested in. We even have a system built out for growth paths and built-in training time for everybody who wants to take advantage of that. And now we can do that. We don't have to worry about not having enough people answering every single question that comes in, because not only can we answer the questions faster, we are reducing the questions because we are answering them right the first time. So we still need people to making sure that the AI part of the support is done well. So there is constant validation, confirmation, reviewing, human training of the machine. But in general, we're cutting out the brunt of the manual labor, I guess, from the support, and able to focus on the relationship part of doing support for our customers. And I'm even right now at the point where I'm able to finally bring in a sort of proactive hand-holding support that I've been hoping to do for years. So this is really helpful for me to be able to achieve getting to the point where we can reach out to customers before they even think that they need help. Yeah.
That's great to know. I think audience, I guess right now you can see, these people are answering to awesome, we are getting awesome answers. So just drop your questions down and we'll definitely have our speakers answer to that. So yeah, and next question is for Jenny. And as I mentioned in the start itself, I saw you have raised the CSAT percentage to 41. Like, so I just want to ask you this, like, what specific AI tools or techniques have had the most significant impact on improving the CSAT scores at your companies?
So this is a little bit of a tricky one for me because I'm kind of trying to figure out where I want to go next with that. But I can speak to things that I've done already. The thing that I think that I need to stress is, as far as tools go, two things really. Your tools are only going to be as effective, whatever you use, as what your existing infrastructure is. So if you don't have a really strong infrastructure to integrate with AI, if your systems don't talk to one another very well, if you don't have a lot of really good data to train your AI on, it's not going to be as effective as it could be, right? So I think that that's one piece. So no matter what tool you use, as far as specific tools, I don't mean to be a spokesperson for this company. It's just one that I've used before that I really did enjoy. It worked well for what I had. They may not work necessarily well for where I am right now. But Intercom is something that I used for a long time. And the reason why it was so successful for me in what I did was because of how seamless everything was and how it was able to help me come at everything from a holistic perspective. So if I needed to integrate with other tools, if I had other AI tools, which I did, some more successful than others, that integration was key. If they don't play nicely with one another, it's not going to work very well. But also, the thing that Intercom allowed me to do was to have all that data that we were bringing in and then doing something with it. So a lot of times I feel in the past, especially, you know, before the big AI jump, I think support teams were sitting on like a gold mine, a literal gold mine of information that the company wasn't able to really utilize in a way that was meaningful. And I think that that's probably the piece that why support is getting this moment all of a sudden in technology, and that people are paying attention more to it, because your support agents, your service agents, they're the ones who speak to your customer. They're the ones who have interactions with your customer on a daily basis. So that you're going to get all of this just amazing information coming in, whether it's from a good interaction or a bad interaction, it is something to learn from. So those tools, you know, if you get that data in, you want to be able to do something with it. And that was something that I was able to do with Intercom very well. So like I said, I love my people at Intercom. I'm not trying to be a spokesperson for them. Again, they may not work for whatever situation whoever is listening to this is speaking to, you know, or whatever your function is, it may not work for that. So as far as tools go, I think just really make sure you do your research, that you're going to be able to integrate very well with them, and that you're going to clean up whatever infrastructure and data that you have in order to make whatever tool you're going to use be most effective. So it was a very long answer, but I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, and such a nice answer. And yeah, thanks for answering that. And back to Andrea, right? I think having a 20-year decade of experiences, I think you might have seen a lot of customers. So here, like, what I want to ask is, like, what are the some of most common questions or concerns your customers have about AI in support, and like, how do you address them?
Um, so we don't really do what they call AI, like the generative AI customer facing yet. It's not there. We are too complex. We don't really trust it to put in front of customers yet, mostly because of what Jenny just said. The source, like you need to have your source information in the right place in order for AI to really learn the right kind of answers that your customers need. And right now we are not there. We are actually in the process of restructuring, redoing our external knowledge base. And we will do the same with the internal knowledge base, just to inch towards that solution. But as far as like currently helping customers with AI, we use a machine learning tool that matches information from a knowledge base towards what the customer are asking. And even though it's useful and there's a lot of good like experience coming out of it, and customers are okay with some of the answers that are getting, we make it really easy for customers to bypass the tool and come straight to the human agents. We don't want it to be a blocker, especially because we know from experience that a large percent of our customers churn silently. So if a customer takes the time to ask for help, we don't want to accidentally block that opportunity to give them what they need. So if they don't want to interact with our tool, then they don't have to. Real quick, click the button that says, I want to talk to an agent, and they get to talk to an agent. So we're trying to make sure that this is not something we are forcing on them. They can use it if they want to. It's a quick help. We have a really good extensive knowledge base to get the information from. But if they want to talk to someone, even about their password, or their billing or whatever, that could be resolved via the knowledge base. Totally fine. Come to us. We're here to help. And then another thing, it's not really direct customer questions or concerns. It's more about what they are saying or not saying in the interactions. We are now mining that with the help of AI and using all that information, good or bad sentiment, or suggestions or requests towards our feedback loop that I was talking about earlier. So we are listening even when they are not really telling us, because now it's easier to extract implicit feedback with AI.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, again, like like I just started over in the support, and I'm just observing this AI everywhere, use AI, and so this question is for Jenny. Like, I just want to ask, like, what skills did you develop throughout your career that prepared you to take advantage of the new wave of AI?
Oh, I think probably, I think one of the biggest skills that besides just always trying to stay calm, um, is to be curious. I think with AI, when I see when I meet folks who tell me that they've never even tried Chat GPT, for instance, or Bard, or whichever one you prefer, um, I'm always just flabbergasted, honestly, because I use Chat GPT every day. I use it to come up with recipes. I use it to help me come up with ideas for getting my teenager to do stuff that I need him to do that he doesn't want to do. I use it in work and personal life, because I'm curious and I want to try things out. And I think that has really helped me with AI. And that I'm just willing to just try it, learn, let's see what this does. The other side of that, I would say, is I tend to have a very healthy, bit of skepticism. So as curious as I am, I almost go into things with well, how good could this really be, right? Or, is this too good to be true? And um, I don't mean that to be negative. It's just more of you always want to try to balance the excitement with the realism. So whenever I do look for anything with AI, does it sound too good to be true? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not, but maybe it is. Do your research on it. Look into the company. Make sure that you can get a free trial, or at least a very inexpensive one. You know, make sure that it's going to do what it actually says it's going to do. So I think that those are the probably the biggest things as far as skills that I've developed that I think have helped me. Um, and then just adaptability, maybe. I don't know if that's I think one of the things with AI, this came about so soon. Like AI has been around for a really long time, but the way that we're talking about it, I feel like we were just one day everybody was talking about it, whether you were in tech or not, right? And things are moving really quickly with it. So I think you have to be able to adapt. And I know a lot of people are scared of AI. I think that that's another piece that is sometimes a challenge, is, the fear of the unknown. But if you can be adaptable, if you can, stay calm, try it out, be skeptical, but then be able to adapt to whatever you do discover. Those are, I think, the skills that have helped me the most.
Yeah, that's great to know. And yeah, thank you for answering that. And let's move to our audiences. Guys, please feel free to post your questions. Let's have these amazing people answer to those. And yeah, so while we wait for them, I think let's wait for few seconds for them if they are typing something out.
Just to while we wait, just to kind of like bounce off of Jenny's last comment, absolutely stay curious, be a little cautious, and really know what you're trying to get out of it. And as soon as you start using it, try to figure out what you want to measure and measure it, because you need to understand what sort of results you're expecting and are you getting those results. And if not, then you need to alter your course. You need to manage your own expectations, and be aware that just because it works a certain way for a certain application, it doesn't mean that it's going to be a one-to-one relationship to what you're trying um, to achieve. Like it's really nice to it's really interesting to see companies advertising like, oh, we slashed our wait time, or we increased our self-resolution rates by 80%. Like, okay, so what kind of company are you, and what are you selling, or what is your product, or what are you doing? And try and not assume that just because somebody had that sort of achievement, you are also going to see the same results. And that's the caution thing that Jenny was saying. Like, if somebody's trying to sell you something, a solution based on those metrics, ask questions and make sure that those metrics apply to you and how you are running your business.
Yeah. I'm gonna riff off of your riff. Um, so I think that that's
This
something,
is jazz. Yeah.
yeah. Full disclosure, I mean, a metric that I'm actually really proud of. I also feel like it's important to talk about the reality of it, right? So, in my last position, we were able to, you know, I don't love the word deflect, because I feel like that means that you're not wanting to talk to your customers, which is the opposite of what I want. But so we were able to take a lot of mundane questions that really didn't require a human to answer, very easy, and deflect those tickets so that we could then answer queries that might have taken a really long time to respond to. So it did increase efficiency greatly. But one of the things I always like to kind of say, like to put it into perspective of when you're thinking about what's your return on investment going to look like. So I think I think we capped out at one point where we were about, I want to say 60% of our incoming volume, we were deflecting with AI. And that's amazing, right? But let's think about how much time, that shouldn't be your only metric that you're looking at. How much time was that 60% really saving? It's not like we were saving 60% of our agents' time with that deflection, right? So we were getting rid of a lot of the mundane stuff, but and I'm making this number up, but maybe it was only deflecting 20% of our agents' time, or freeing that up, right? Even though it was 60% of our volume. So I couldn't agree more with what Andrea is saying. Really know what what does success look like? Try to figure that out before you just go barreling into it. So that's why I say be cautious with your curiosity. What does success look like? Have an idea of what that means. How close are you going to get to it? And are you measuring adequately? Because maybe, if there's any vendors on here, you're going to hate me for saying this, but maybe it's really not worth it. Maybe it's still more cost effective to use all humans than what you're going to get with AI in your current situation. Maybe once you improve documentation, infrastructure, all those other things, you might get more out of it, but be realistic. So, and definitely measure.
Yeah, uh, those are great answers, from Jenny and Andrea, and I just feel like it's time. So it was such an interesting session, and I hope the audience would have loved to. So we have reached the end of a webinar on delivering delight with AI, and I really want to express my sincere gratitude to Andrea and Jenny for joining us today, and your expertise and passion for customer service is like truly inspiring, and like one of, I think those answers I wouldn't get from anywhere else, and it has to come from this much of experience and the expertise. And yeah, I really feel grateful to be to the host and able to hear all of this myself. And It's like truly invaluable, and and I'm sure it is also a tremendous resource for all of our audience, and I hope they also, loved hearing about your stories and your insights towards AI and the support and how you were driving it throughout these years. And yeah, thank you, Jenny and Andrea. It was nice meeting you, pleasant meeting you, and I would love to connect with you for the future webinars.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you
I
for
really appreciate it.
thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you very much. Andrea, it's always good to see you.
You as well, Jenny.
All right, bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye. Thank you.